At 9 o'clock on a June evening, Aga Ali, a Pakistani living in Fulchester, walked into the Central Police Station and confessed that he was an illegal immigrant. He claimed he was being blackmailed with exposure to the police, and after investigation, the police arrested the man who had arranged his journey from Pakistan, Muhammad Aslam, on this charge. He's pleaded not guilty. We returned to the hearing shortly after the prosecution counsel had established that Aslam had previously served a term of imprisonment for blackmail, which he'd attempted to hide from the court.
My lord, I now have had an opportunity of consulting my client on the matter of his 1948 conviction. He wishes to apologize for misleading your lordship and the jury for stating that he had no convictions prior to 1973. This is because he genuinely believed that any conviction outside the jurisdiction of the English courts of law did not count. He now realizes that this is indefensible and wishes to apologize for misleading the court. And, of course, he realizes that he must now answer questions on this matter.
Very well. Mr. Golding.
Mr. Aslam, will you tell us, please, the circumstances of your 1948 conviction?
Well, I was a young man, and I got caught up with some very bad sorts. We demanded money from a black market man.
The black market? What was this man dealing in?
Butter. He was buying and selling butter on the black market.
So he was breaking the law?
Oh, yes.
And you threatened him with exposure to the police unless he paid you money?
Yes, but there were 5 of us. I was only one of 5.
And how did you come to be exposed and convicted?
He was cleverer than us. Also, he was Assistant Chief Magistrate of Khalid District.
Oh, I see.
My lord, this is the complete story, and I have no other convictions. I realize the unfortunate similarity to what I am now being charged, but I came to this country because I wish to turn over a completely new leaf from all that.
Well, let us see how far you have succeeded. You gave us a list of your businesses, Mr. Aslam.
Yes.
Was it exhaustive?
I do not understand.
Well, you mentioned a dazzling array. A laundromat, ice cream vans, insurance, private hostels, confectionery factory, snack bar, minibus, petrol service station, market stalls, and some slot machines. Now, is that all?
And a funeral service.
Is that all?
I think so.
You think so?
Yes, I'm sure it is.
What about the Crown Finance Company of Fulchester?
Oh, yes.
Ah, yes, you remember now. You forgot to mention that, didn't you?
I was including that in the insurance company.
Is it an insurance company?
Not strictly...
No, it is a money-lending company, isn't it? And a mortgage company.
Yes.
And is it not a fact that the majority of applicants to your immigration council seeking advice on where to get mortgages are referred to it?
Some are.
The majority?
Perhaps.
And who refers them?
Sometimes it is...
You do, don't you? You personally refer them to the Crown Finance Company, and you do not tell them that it is your own company. And how much interest do you charge them? Oh, take your time, Mr. Aslam.
There is a sliding scale.
Mostly sliding upwards, I understand. I have here the deed of a mortgage you granted to a Mr. Singh Patan in 1968 for £3,000, and here's another for £3,500 granted to Mr. Ali on his house in Britholm Street. And the rate of interest quoted on both is 18%. 18%, Mr. Aslam.
Many mortgages are almost at that figure.
They are now, yes, but in 1968 it was grotesque.
Not under the circumstances.
It was not gross exploitation?
No.
Your fellow immigrants, your fellow Pakistanis, who presumably have a great deal of difficulty in getting mortgages, come to you in good faith and you charge them way over the standard rate.
It is business. There is a risk. It is supply and demand.
Exactly so. And if the demand is great enough, you can charge whatever you like. The sky's the limit.
You do not understand.
I think we do, Mr. Aslam. I think we understand with blinding clarity.
In all of my ventures, I believe you must make a small profit, however small. My lord, it is to do with the self-respect and the dignity of the men you are dealing with.
And the 98 hours a week for a pittance in a restaurant, was that to do with the dignity and self-respect of the unfortunate immigrants you had over a barrel? I can see it must have been good business practice. I put it to you that it was exploitation of the very worst sort. Exploitation of men who can have no say in the matter, who cannot complain, and who are in a situation which they cannot go to the police about, and whom, in fact, you have totally in your power.
This is the grossest twisting of the facts.
Oh, is it, Mr. Aslam? Is it indeed? And is that why you threatened to expose Mr. Ali to the police if he did not pay up?
I have already said that was to obtain advice about debt payment.
But a man with your experience of small businesses over 22 years and the greatest variety of them, surely you must know by heart the laws and procedures as to the collection of small debts.
Oh, no.
You seriously expect us to believe that?
Yes, if a debt was owed to any of my companies, the manager of that particular company dealt with it. I never dealt with things like that myself.
Your solicitor, then, could he not have advised you?
About an illegal debt?
But surely the same argument applies to the police, if not more so. You surely couldn't have asked them.
On the contrary, they are almost most helpful. Walk into any police station and they will advise you about anything. And they do not press you to give names and details like that.
And this threat of exposure to the police of Mr. Ali's whereabouts was nowhere in your mind when you wrote this?
No.
You are certain of that?
It is the truth.
Then listen to this phrasing, Mr. Aslam. Listen to what you actually wrote. In default of prompt payment, I shall be forced to consult the police about you. Not forced to consult the police about it, Mr. Aslam, but about you.
No, that is complete nonsense. You are giving the letter a meaning it does not have.
Well, that seems to be a matter of opinion, doesn't it? I'm sure the jury will be able to decide about that. Now, this matter of your alleged wealth and your income. I've been provided with some of your books and accounts and balance sheets, Mr. Aslam. They're all kept most admirably and in the fullest detail.
It is good business practice.
You never delay. You believe in accuracy and punctuality.
Yes?
Then why did you delay 2.5 years before making this demand?
What?
Come now, it's a perfectly simple question. You believe in promptness. Now, this debt of £60 was incurred in 1970. Now, Mr. Ali was clearly in a position to pay you the whole of this debt in both 1971 and 1972. So why delay pressing your claim until 1973?
I cannot say.
You cannot say. 2.5 years delay, and you cannot say why? Come now, Mr. Aslam, the reason is perfectly plain, is it not?
My lord, perhaps I can help here. I have advised my client about the rules of evidence with particular regard to hearsay. That is why he's being most punctilious in not answering this question. My next witness is Mrs. Aslam, who will explain the delay for the demand.
But since Mr. Aslam...
My wife was threatened. That is the reason.
Threatened by whom?
It is quite proper for you to tell us.
By Mr. Wheeler.
Wheeler, the master of the boat.
Yes. He came to Fulchester in July. He came to my house. There was violence.
You were not present?
Oh, no.
Now, when did you find out about this violence?
When I returned about an hour after. That is why I immediately wrote to Mr. Wheeler asking for money to pay to... I immediately wrote to Mr. Ali asking money to pay to Mr. Wheeler.
But surely with this risk of violence and all the rest of it, surely you could have paid Mr. Wheeler yourself and then, if necessary, got the money back from Mr. Ali.
Oh, no, that would not be good business practice.
But you did not owe the money.
That is correct.
Then why did you demand it? Why did you not refer Mr. Wheeler to Mr. Ali?
I felt I had to do something to help.
You felt you had to do something to help. Really, Mr. Aslam, you astonish me. After all we've heard this afternoon about your various business practices, do you seriously raise your own moral standards as a defense?
Yours may be different.
I hope they are.
Mr. Golding.
I apologize, my lord. I assume we shall be hearing from Mrs. Aslam precisely how serious this threat to her was.
Indeed you will.
In that case, my lord, I have no further questions.
I'll be re-examination, my lord.
You may return to the dock, Mr. Aslam.
Thank you, my lord.
I call Mrs. Rosemary Aslam.
Rosemary Aslam, please.